What's up guys, in today's video I'm gonna show you how to graphic design step by step even if you're a beginner. This design here can be seen as a streetwear design, can be seen as a in general like a graphic design. For this design here I took inspiration from the Kanye West The Life of Pablo album cover, which is this one here. Let's go. To make things easier for you, I decided to just create a checklist so that you can have all the things organized. As you can see, 3 steps are missing since they're the most important steps you will need to do, so stick around and let's start. So here we are. So the main things you want to do are, before opening Photoshop, 1, you will need to sketch in any sort of way on a paper just a plan about what you want to do in Photoshop, because planning is key into creating a really cool design. Second thing, you should define the main subject for the design. In my case, I decided to go with this eagle, and it will just go around the idea of a really cool eagle and the things associated commonly with an eagle, so maybe strength and other stuff. 3, you should search the main subject photo. So in my case I decided to go on unsplash.com and start deciding which image to choose to just create from scratch the design. And of course you should also brainstorm some taglines, some stuff you want to add on the design once you're in Photoshop. So these are the main things that you will need to do before opening Photoshop that will just help you a ton just organizing your way inside Photoshop. Afterwards, once you have all the things planned out, just open Photoshop, drag and drop your image inside Photoshop, and remove, if you have the background, you should remove the background of the image. For the case of this eagle here, I have some different options to remove the background. The first one will be to use the selection tool and to select the blue sky. Otherwise, you could also go with the remove background feature, which you will find on the properties tab inside Photoshop if you have like a recent version and updated version of Photoshop. And another way of removing the background is to actually use the pen tool and to trace the outside and the border of the main subject. After having the main image and the subject really ready to work, you will need to focus on the fonts. So I suggest you going with 2 different fonts because you will need to cover the branding part of your. So maybe if you have some already pre-selected fonts, you can use them, but I suggest you to just use 1 or 2 fonts maximum. I will use this Arial font here, which is super easy, minimalistic, and just perfect for this design, since it just sums up pretty well the idea I want to follow, which is basically to just speak for itself, the color rather than the font. But either way, I will even add another font which will really complement and it will be a more bold and really cool font that will add a nice touch, which I will talk about later on when I'm gonna add it. You will need to make the design interesting using different and well selected fonts. So maybe I suggest you going with 2 fonts. The first one will be more minimalistic and like really basic font, and the second one will be more bold and just will transmit that unusual vibe of a font. So try to just select an unusual font, since I think that if you're creating a graphic, you will want to create something original and not something that everybody is creating. So I suggest you doing so by using 2 different fonts. Now it starts the layout part, where you're gonna just move around the elements that I talk you through until now, and so you just gotta find a cool position for all of them. And that brings me to the next point, which is to use extra images to just share the point you want to transmit. In my case, I'm adding a motion blur type of image, which in my case relates to the actual topic, since it seems as if it was a POV of what the eagle was seeing when it was flying. And so I really like this parallelism between the two images. That brings me to another point, which is the color palette and even the branding. So for this design here, and if you want to create something similar, you will need to use, again, two colors. As said before, for the fonts is really similar, since you will need to find two colors. The first one will need to complement the more vibrant color. So I decided to go with a black and white gradient map for the eagle and for the other image. Plus, then I will add a vibrant color, which will be as a background. So I don't know if you're seeing the actual similarities between the fonts and the colors. Really easy and really similar. The fonts one, as even the colors, will be just easy and simple, and the other one will just spark vibrance, and it will be more vibrant, colorful, and whatever you want. So it's just there are two contrasts for the fonts and even for the colors, which create a really cool graphic. Afterwards, it brings me to the next point, which are the elements that you will need to add at least some meaning in your design, because nobody wants a design with no meaning. At least for me, it's like this. Maybe you can think whatever you want, but this is my idea about designing. So if you want to design something, it needs to have a purpose. Otherwise, why are you designing it in the first place? And I think it's really important to give a meaning to the design. After that, I think that once you've done all these steps, you're basically done. I mean, you have all the things that you need to create a really cool design. So I think that for now you can just see my final result here. Oh, sorry guys, I forgot the next step, which is to subscribe, leave a like, close YouTube, and just start designing. I'll catch you next week with a new video. Bye bye.